Thanks for coming in here this morning. I know that it's a little earlier than normal. First I had it for 7:15, then I had it for 7 o'clock, then I changed it to 6:45. Because there's a lot to go over, and I want to open it up too for real comments and real discussion on some of the stuff that we're planning on doing this year. This is going to be we had our steel cage match thing. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's a thing that we do at the end of the year where the managers come in for a day and a half, 2-day deal where you lay the cards on the table. You're honest with each other on how you feel like each other has done. You're honest with yourself on how you feel like you have done. But what it all stemmed from was first choice. We talk the game, first choice effort. We do our, what's it called, our
Success model?
Success model. We do the success model. I'll be the first to admit, I'm not always the perfect model of the success model. There's a lot of it that I embrace, okay? And just because, I may not be able to recite it perfectly all the time, I know what it means. The biggest part of that to me is the values, It's tough. The unyielding integrity thing is the toughest part for me, because you're dealing with money. You're dealing with somebody's livelihood and money. Okay, it's called our paychecks. Whenever you have something that is, you have to make a decision over unyielding integrity and your paycheck. That'll test you as a person. I want to get better in that fashion. I think I've gotten better over the years, but I'm going to get better. So, what's important for this meeting is to everyone, and we're going to have opportunities to be honest with each other the entire year on different stuff. People have these accountability partners. I never really felt like it's nice for someone to keep an eye on you, but the eyes need to be your own eyes on yourself, in my mind. And you really need to take that to heart. It's easy to do if no one's watching. That's how you decide. That's how you decide, to me, what kind of character you have and just the way you live your life when nobody's watching. And that goes with this job too. We all know what we do when nobody's watching. So there's going to be folks watching. Okay. I was always a leader after I felt like we had leaders in place. I was always to the thought that you let folks show that they're leaders, and then you let them do their job, and that's still going to happen because we are all paid on commission. That's where all the dollars come from, is commission money from the loads. Some of you are on different deals right now. But that's where we're a commission-based business. If we don't do loads, the commission isn't there. All right. Just going through this worksheet that I gave everybody. I felt like it would be a good idea to start it off with Chad and Maddie giving just a short talk on their experiences in sales, how they attack every day, how they know, what's coming around the corner, just their techniques. Because we've got some young folks here. We got 3 people. If we don't train these 3 people, we missed the boat on a bunch, okay? And it can't just be the trainers. It's got to be the trainees. The trainees got to be willing to learn, willing to do the extra, willing to come in a little early, willing to stay a little bit later, willing to just do the things that, that the company needs us to do. So it's important that you guys understand that is critical, okay? So Chad's going to start off with a 5-minute talk on what he feels is important as sales.
Okay, I don't know if I have 5 minutes with this. It was kind of nebulous, so I just tried to put a few ideas together. Just my general thoughts are on it. What I was given was discuss sales techniques of soliciting new business, maintaining established business, and overall sales strategy over the years. We're always working toward an opportunity. That's kept coming back to me. We're only as good as our last load. You can service somebody for years and years and years, and something goes awry, something goes wrong, you could lose that business. So that's something to keep in your mind all the time, which leads to the next thing. If we're only as good as our last load, that's why it's critical to over-service every single load, regardless of how long you've had the business, how well you know the shipper, how friendly or tight you got. You got to continue to over-service your business, and that's the key for me to keeping business and securing new business. Every day we spend a lot of time on the phone asking the extra question. Hey, especially when you deliver a load, something's clean. Hey, this, just want to let you know we're empty. Do you got any other, what else you got going on? What other areas do you ship from? Do you know anybody else that does business in your area? Would you mind me calling on them? Truck drivers. I had a guy yesterday, I just picked the load up and I'm delivering into the market. Well, where'd you pick the load up? You just never know where you're going to get the next little piece of information that allows you to make that next phone call to, solicit more business. It's kind of like a funnel upside down. You start with a little piece of information, all of a sudden you've got a lot of information, and you can take that. So asking the extra questions, drivers, shippers, existing customers, and then, service. We talked about that. We had a little meeting, and we forget the little things. When you're servicing someone, you get a load. You make the phone call right away to the shipper. Hey, is this a good load? Is this a good number? Is this a good address? That way when you dispatch your truck, there's no hang-ups. When do you think the load's going to be ready? That takes care of your truck, and it takes care of your shipper, and it takes care of your customer right now. Just one phone call to one shipper right away when you get the load. How many times have we just get a load, send the guy in, it's not going to be ready till 8 p.m. tonight, when we had that piece of information, because we're in the business of keeping drivers happy too, because that's our bread and butter. If we don't have people to pick up the loads, we can have all the loads we want. We don't get trucks for it. Same thing on the other end. Do we have an appointment? Do we know where so a lot of people, where's the address for the guy? Do we make things as easy as we can for our trucks? And that is servicing our customer by making sure that the truck has all the information the truck needs. Little things, pickup numbers, POs, temperature, count, recorder, pulping things, pickup, drop-off times, emergency numbers, that little stamp we have in the Eastern Division that you put on your load. Are we covering all the little things? Because if we take care of all those little things, I used to say in the coaching business, if we can keep the toilets flushed, the locker room clean, and get to practice on time and line up right, we'd probably be on the way to winning a championship. If we can do all those little things, we'll have less claims, we'll be in better shape to service our customer, and a lot of times when you get real busy, it's easy to forget that. It's easy to forget to, tell the guy, hey, we need to pulp that product. But don't pulp something one time, load something hot, show up on the other end with a hot product and no temp recorder. You could lose a customer, you could have a claim, just because we didn't do a little thing one time.
Chad, if you were to, and it's just the hardest part, I think, of our jobs. When we're new and we're trying to cut our teeth in this business, is to how the heck do you get new customers? How do you do it? I mean, how did you get Soul Group? How did you get Bolt House? How did all that, you know, that's what people need to know, how that stuff comes about. How did Maddie get the customers she has? You know, how did we have the pumpkins and the pickles all these years? Yes, you had to start somewhere. That's exactly what we need from our up and coming, plus the folks that are already here. We need to keep doing loads. We need to keep developing customers, and we'll talk more about that later, about all of us and the efforts that we will all put in doing new customers. What do you do? I mean,
I don't
how do you
think there's
start?
a magic bullet for that. I don't think there's a magic formula. It's perseverance, persistence, and again, if you're asking enough questions and talking to enough people and spreading enough out there, sooner or later you're going to hit on something that, you know, works, and, you know, just develop it. I mean, just stay after it. I don't think.
Where did you look? I mean, how did you get their name? Just from somebody else, or did they call in? You remember?
I think the Bolt House was a while ago. I mean, it's been so long ago, I don't really remember exactly how it occurred, but I think that was, you know, hey, somebody's doing carrots at marker 29 and made a call. But, and again, you know, other people going into places, you know, and with Soul Group, that was just, you know, call and call and call. First year, nobody returns your call. Second year, you do 5 or 10 loads. Third year, they start trusting you a little more. I mean, it's always evolving, it's always changing. The Long and Scott thing, somebody said something, hey, you know, there's a smaller outfit. We got Anna. I remember, I think we made a call to Anna.
This is amazing to me. It's Mount Olive's customer, okay? It's Mount Olive's pickle farmer. We've done stuff for Mount Olive for a while. We directly billed Mount Olive for that business. But we noticed every once in a while we'd do a load with Long and Scott. They would call us, but it would be going to Mount Olive. It'd be the same pickles. And we're thinking, what the hell? I mean, what's this? How can we... No, why isn't Mount Olive giving us that business when they give us everything else? It was just something that they had set up with Long and Scott. Why? I don't know. But Long and Scott just did the transportation, and I guess they did good with it. And the folks just did. So Mount Olive was completely out of it. I guess they did a good job with it, or Mount Olive would have jumped in and said, hey, no, I will find the people to do transportation on my pickles. So all I did was I went to the main guy, Denlinger, and I said, and this was our yearly meeting. That's another thing, the way you keep you have a yearly review. If you have a big customer, you take time to have a yearly review, either in person or a conference call or a video call, just a yearly review that takes 30 to 45 to an hour. And you go over the year, you go over what you've done, you go over the things that helped and worked, and then that sort of solidifies your business for the next year. It really does. You know, number one, if they thought you did that bad, they ain't going to meet with you anyway. They're going to be glad that it's over. But that's all we did with Mount Olive. Well, you know, I called him, I said, hey, Phil, this stuff with Long and Scott, we're bringing pickles into you periodically. Would you mind calling them and asking them if they would mind us doing all the loads out of there? He says, no, you guys do a good job. And I noticed you've done some of our business. It took one phone call. Think about that. That's the customer, and this is a pickle farmer. If you're the pickle farmer, wouldn't you feel like a little bit of a sense of pressure, maybe? When the actual guy that gives you the business is saying, hey, how about using L&M Transportation? If I were the pickle farmer, I'd say, yes, sir. And that's what they did. So there's a lot more opportunities like that out there. Chad said something about the check calls, doing the check calls, and you guys that do the check calls in the mornings, it shouldn't be, hello driver, where are you at? Oh, okay, you know when you deliver? Yeah, okay, well thank you, bye. You beat the phone call up. You use every phone call as an opportunity to ask another question. Where are you going? What are you doing next? When are you going to be back in? A guy delivering to Raleigh. These guys, they don't work day to day. They know what they're going to have next. They know where they're going next. So ask them and include it in the truck list. We need to, another thing that we're going to talk about is our shared truck lists. There's we're still going to push the everyone everywhere stuff. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But we can't let trucks get out the door. We've got to be able to offer them up to everyone here and everyone in other offices as time goes on. That's going to be a part of the new push for the SkyDrive. But you just have to use every opportunity that presents itself to do the next load. Maddie?
I'll tell you the first thing do not do. In 12 and a half years, I've never been late for a meeting, and I'm sorry, it's disrespectful. It's definitely not what you do.
But I can tell you, that's not a gigantic deal because number one, it is her first time, and number two, she called. Things happen, okay? Things happen. Now, if you're one of these people who it's repeat and you just can't do it, then that's not good.
As far as keeping business, getting business, for me, it's, as far as getting business, it's all referrals. It's all asking, just what Skip said, asking customers and asking trucks. And I would say, I think all of my customers in one way, shape, or form have all been by referral, or taking that call when it comes in and actually following up, taking advantage of every opportunity that comes in. Somebody calls in with some random load that you don't have a chance in hell, at least call them, take their number, take their information, and call them back and make them think you're trying, even if you're not.
That's so key.
And if you call them back, and then sometimes I'll keep their number, if I dig a little bit more and ask more questions, I'll call them back the next week if I have a truck that was actually could do the load that they were looking for. Hey, last week you were looking for this, I couldn't help you, but I got one this week. You have anything? Chances are they probably don't, but you don't know unless you ask. Referrals from carriers are just as important as from customers. I've got a list of people to call right now, actually, from a carrier who says to use his name, and there's six different customers that he gets direct loads from that he thinks we can be of help. And take all leads is, I can't stress it. That is, to me, one of the biggest things that other people do not do. Unless it's easy, most people don't go out of their way to try it. And that's the next thing is take risks. If I had stayed in my one little area that I was offered when I first, of course I came in as an assistant to Jim, but once I became a broker, I was first trained on what the West Lane was always was. California, Arizona, the East Coast, mainly the Carolinas. If I had stayed in that parameter, eventually I think I would have either run out of calls or gotten frustrated because I was 100% up against fighting for trucks. Now with Dave, but with anybody. I think it has helped me tremendously to take advantage of the opportunities when there are more areas made available to you, actually attempts to come to those areas. And the easiest and quickest way to do that is if you already have a customer that you're doing a lane for, California to New York. Every single time I get a load from him out of California, I ask, when are you going to give me an opportunity in Washington? Well, I don't right now because there's no trucks, but when are you going to give me an opportunity in Texas? When are you going to give an opportunity when things start up in Florida? So, and if funny, one of them, the Airstream guy, gets so frustrated that I ask him that, but guess what? When he has those loads, we did a load for him out of Texas a month ago. He would have never even contemplated or debated, even considered giving us that load had we not asked. He says I'm a pain in the butt, but he says eventually I'm going to say yes. So what Skip's saying is if you get enough no's, or what Chad said, you keep calling. I think the biggest thing though was find the balance of what that calling is. You don't want to call somebody every single day. You got to read them. You can tell when they're like, no, just get off my phone. Then back off, do it once a week. When I'm calling new people or people that referrals, I call them when I have a truck. This is different than when they call in here. I call them when I know I have a truck for the business they would be calling for or would be seeking for. The phone calls into the office, I keep their information and I call them back regardless whether or not I was able to help them or not. So that's, to me, a big difference in the two, but you're kind of going after it two different ways. Overall, I think in a nutshell, it is overpromise and underdeliver. I think you're only as good as your word.
Other way around.
Over
Under promise and over service.
underpromise and overdeliver. Thank you.
6:45.
I cannot stress enough. When you tell a trucker rate, oh, the rates are somewhere from 300 to 500. All they hear is the 500. When you tell a customer rates are 300 to 500, all they hear is the 300. So it's perception. It's making sure you know what they're understanding to be what you're saying when they get on the phone. But the under promise, over deliver is, I think it's gigantic. When a truck is running late, if he's going to be an hour and a half late, I personally tell that customer he's going to be 2.5 hours late. Therefore, I know he's going to get there in that window. Worst case scenario, he gets there a little bit sooner than what we said. If you tell him an hour, oh, you know, if a truck's 60 miles out, well, it should be an hour. I tell him 2 hours, because if he doesn't get there within that hour when you say an hour, then he's late again. So the under promise and over deliver. And then I think the final thing is find your own way. Use the same message that everybody uses, but find what works for you. For so long, not so long, but the first 6 months to a year, I was trying so hard to use the exact verbiage that someone else, Jim, I was writing down word for word what his sentences were when he was on the phone with someone. And you could tell it was contrived because they're not words that I would use. So take the exact same message, because they're great, the meaning is correct, but I actually finally went home and would use his key sentences, his sales sentences, and put them in my words, and that's what I would start using. So I was conveying the same thing, but it felt more natural, it felt more right coming out of my mouth, because I was saying something I would actually say. So I think be true rather than being a robot and copying. But there's, the message is super important, so.
All right, thanks. This meeting is for everybody, but if you're new, your ears should be gigantic right now, because this is definitely for everyone, and we're going to find out why it's for everyone. But just because you're new, it doesn't mean that you have to be new forever. We can only use that new thing for so long, but we want and expect you to listen, learn, ask questions, and jump in. You will be defended, but you will be defended if someone jumps you, because, and it's hard too, because people don't want your help, but you can't accept that. If you show them one time you can help them, then next time they'll help you. It's funny how as time goes on, folks actually start asking for newer people because they develop confidence. And the little situation that happened yesterday with that load that you did that got pushed. He had a load that it was one of the first ones he ever booked, and had the truck set up. The truck wasn't completely straight with him. Make a long story short, it was 5 minutes late to load. They didn't load him. Guy hung up on him. Same old thing. It's out of the Northeast. That would have, when I was new, that would have knocked me down a couple pegs, and sort of made me wonder, hey, but it can't. That ought to just make you hungrier. Okay, you know what you did. You know what you could have done different, if there was anything, and you just do it. You just move on. This isn't a cure for cancer by any means. These are loads of produce. Do the best you can with it. People have your back here. Hopefully people have your back here. And we're gonna talk more about that too. And I know in the East that people have each other's back like it should be. Not so much in the West as it should be. But you guys that are new, you stretch out there, get a lead, try to get a load booked, and count on the people around you to help you get it covered. That's the only way that we do the big stuff here at this company. Do you really think that we could have done the 700 or 800 loads with Bottomley if it's just Chad and the two new guys? No, there ain't no way. Everyone had to figure out how to chip in. Okay.
One last thing though, can I say?
Yeah.
Talking about when situations happen, the sooner you can keep everybody on the same page, good, bad, and different news, the better. There's nothing worse than, especially bad news, somebody finding out 10 minutes after the fact, 30 minutes, it's just, it does nobody any good.
What I want everyone to do, we're going to have annual meetings here, reviews, sometime soon. You know, I don't know what form we're using, but I know what I'm going to ask as far as myself. And they did this with our, and I think this was great because it puts you on the spot. It makes you think about your job. Sometimes the simplest things are the best things to dig information out about yourself. What I want you to do, and I want you to be honest, and it's just, and me and you are the only ones going to be seeing it. And have this ready here soon, because if I can't get to the reviews in the next couple of weeks, then I'm probably just going to ask for these. I want you, and even the new folks. You guys definitely, because you've been here long enough to make some mistakes. You not so much, but still think about it. If you have, then use them. But 3 things, I want you to list 3 things that you will start doing in 2015 that you've never done before. I don't care what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. And to answer that question, you want to make sure that it's a first choice. It's a first choice decision. Okay? An L&M Transportation first choice decision. Not Doug Stoiber decision to benefit Doug Stoiber and Doug Stoiber only. It's an L&M Transportation decision. 3 things you will stop doing in 2015. You know how you do your job. You know what you do. You know exactly what you do throughout the workday. You know what you do when that damn phone rings at 3 in the morning and you don't feel like picking it up. You know how you talk to people when nobody's watching. We talked about what you do when no one's watching before you walked in. To me, that's the ultimate judge of a person, when nobody's watching. So let's everyone make sure that you do that. And I'm going to be bouncing around because that's just the way this stuff came to my head when I was working this meeting up. We're going to do something different starting, actually it's going to be the 3rd Friday of the 3rd Tuesday of every month. We're going to meet right here, and we're going to have a collections meeting for the entire group. The collections meeting will, rather than having 2 different meetings, I think it'll be helpful for everyone to see how everyone else collects money, and how everyone else handles claims, and how everyone else works the credits that they get, where someone's shorting you $150. What do we do? How do we do it? We started with that shared thing. I don't really, it doesn't matter to me about that. What matters to me is the list that comes out every Tuesday, or whenever Doug Friday, or whenever Doug hands them out, that list is 30 and under. I don't care how we arrive at it. I just want to make sure that we do arrive at it. And we will meet, we'll start out meeting every Tuesdays once a month. But if I see that's not good enough, and we're just not getting it done, then it'll be 2 Tuesdays for each month. So that's what we'll start out with. You're going to have to push yourselves, all right? And make sure, you'll see Doug's deal, and that should be push enough. And same thing with claims. we're gonna jump on claims as soon as they happen. We just happen to have a couple here in the last 2 weeks, in the eastern part, that I think I think at least one of them are almost handled, where the insurance company got everything they needed, and it's only a week old. You got to get it while it's fresh. The longer you wait, the less chance you're gonna be able to get anything back.
We starting that in December or January?
December. Let me look at the. I'm going to look at the last sheets first, and then I'll decide. But office procedures. This hasn't been. What we're going to do different as far as some of the office procedures and when people were in and out, and this is my fault too. I want everyone. If you know that you're going to be out of the office, I don't care what it's for, please send me an email in advance. I know you all keep your own little calendars, and that's fine, but I need to have an email in advance so I can see the total coverage in the office. My personal thoughts on this is I don't want to be out of the office whenever our biggest producers are out of the office too. That's what I would rather do. There's going to come times when that can't happen, but that's what I'm going to shoot for. So, and don't, this company and has been really fair as far as the things that it has done, especially over the last year or two, to help with time out of here and the nighttime guy and then the auctions on the weekends and all that. But what's most important, and it's clear to me that we have to have coverage in the office all the time, whenever we need it. I mean, we have to, because you guys don't see this, but I hear it. We get the guy in the corner walking by, and he sees, one person sitting in the group. He's on me. He's on me no matter where I'm at. So just make sure that you guys handle it that way and let me know in advance. Same thing with appointments, and we all have stuff. Stuff happens. But as long as we coordinate with each other, and I can have the main coordinates so I can see what the groups look like, because I can mix and move and match. Well, I can take someone from one group, put them into the other group. There's no specific way that we have to handle anything. So we will, like Chad's got surgery coming up in a week or two. So we're going to have to figure out how to make sure that stuff is covered. So time away from your desk. You know what you go away from your desk for. Just look around before you leave your desk. Make sure that the group is covered. Don't leave someone that's been here for 3 weeks sitting there by himself. Unless it's like an emergency. So just and if you're away from your desk, get back. Just get back. You can only do work at your desk in most cases. Training new employees. This is going to be something that isn't going to be on one of us. This is going to be something that's going to be on all of us. It's the only way someone can learn is if everyone takes the time to train. That's why we're cross-training Josh. I want him to see how everyone does it. He's going to have to be his own person when it comes time for him to get into the meat and potatoes of the job. But he's going to have. But it's good to see the way different people do different things. And we're going to reverse train here pretty soon. Once and we can still do it with you two. What I mean by that is I can go and hook up to Josh and just hear what the other guy's saying back to Josh, how he's responding. We can do that too. if there comes a time, and there probably will in the next month where it slows down, let the new person get on the phone and start working the workday and see how you hear from the other side. Not just he's controlling the conversation, not you and him listening to you. He's controlling it and you're listening to him. So that's something that we're going to try. But take the time to teach, because the sooner, let's face it, the sooner folks are up and running, it's going to make everybody's job easier. You know, get him in there on the weekends to help out. There's no reason he can't get in here on the weekends sometimes now. I mean, so start including him in on the in the schedule. Bounce him in and out. And same with on call. How long was it before you took the phone, Jake?
A day.
Probably 3 weeks.
3 weeks? Okay. You're still here, aren't you? You're still alive. Wasn't that bad, was it? Plus with the way Chad did it too. Chad was a close backup. He had someone as a close backup. So if he had to handle a situation that he wasn't sure of, then he just sort of put it on hold a second and called Chad. That's the way you learn. You'll still learn things now, being on call after all these years, that it can be a new thing. You've never seen this quite like this before. We had a guy that was killed in a few weeks driving one of our Christmas tree loads. That's a different situation. Don't happen every day. So you had different things you have to do to handle different situations. So the new Genesis coming up. Just so happened, a couple guys that left, Chris and RJ, they were our super users. I want you guys to be super users, along with the folks that are here. Jen's a super user. Jake, I want you to be a super user. Daniel, Josh, you guys are the ones, and I'm not saying that everyone else shouldn't be a super user or get good at it, because you're going to have to do the same things. But my idea is to allow the people that are best at it to maneuver it. Okay? Put the people in the right position. And just naturally, you guys are better at it because you're a little bit more in depth with the technology. And that's just the way it is. All you guys and then Doug. All you guys and Doug are the technology guys. See, Doug, you make me look bad.
I do?
Yeah.
Come on.
All right, meetings with Ben, James, Dan. I've already set up a short little meeting with Josh this week for Genesis. Was it 10 to 12? Mm-hmm. 10 to 12 every day. Use that. Have a plan when you go in there. Just don't go in and sit down and say, okay, go ahead, teach me. Find out what you want to know from the group. Ask these guys, would it be a good thing to know? How do I find a truck that loaded for us last year out of Florida in the toughest time of the year? I mean, I got a truck in Wisconsin tomorrow. I want to load that truck. Or I want to find a load for him. Dan, show me how to pull up business out of Wisconsin that we did last year. Who can I call? We want to blast out a load to all the different, there's so many things that this thing's going to be able to do that the other thing was able to do, but it was just tougher to manipulate through it. But all of us need to jump in on that. We just can't rely on, Rita and Sarah and the young people to be able to do the basics with it. We have to learn how to do it. And that's one of my goals, is to do my best at trying to learn that thing. I just didn't, I'm like scared. I'm scared of it. So I just haven't done any good with it, but I'm going to sure try this time. Daniel.
Yes, sir.
I'd like for you for 2015, I want you to make a calendar. This is gonna take some work, so, and you'll have time to do it, of what this company does, month to month, where we load out of, who we load with, and where the stuff goes. To me, that spells Genesis. You're gonna have to get in there and get reports run, and what I'd like to see is a calendar, a big calendar. Put it on the wall so all produce people can see it. And, you know, it's not gonna be exact because it's produce and growing seasons mix and move and change a little bit. But for the most part, they sort of stay pretty close to what they are every year within a few weeks. We have to know when stuff is coming before it gets here. We have to. If we wait till someone calls us to tell us, hey, the peppers are starting in Immokalee, we're behind already. We have to, 2 weeks before that stuff's starting, you're gonna blast out an email, okay, peppers are starting in Nogales. We did this many loads last year. We shipped from A to B. Even these are the trucks who did all these loads last year. Just be an information gatherer.
Good.
And I'd like to see it on a big calendar. Ask the girls downstairs about something, or there's got to be something that you can do to just keep it clean looking and 1 month on it at a time, and you're going to be the conductor
Is that
of
for Eastern and Western?
that's everything.
You want one calendar for
One
both?
calendar, yes.
Okay.
One calendar.
Good.
The bigger the better. The bigger the better on the calendar. And, you know, what you'll do is, and I'll get with you more on it, but you're going to keep that calendar. You can't write everything you want to say in the block on that calendar, but you can sure say that this area is getting ready to start up next week, and this commodity. And then you can dig in, and by the information that you gather up, you can send an email. See produce calendar, and then give everybody some bullet points on what you have found. But we're going to start that, and we're going to start it in January. So you got 3 weeks to get a jump on it. And this will force you to learn the business really, really quick. This is big, letting customers and carriers get away. I think that we sometimes, a lot actually, we lose carriers, we lose customers because we want to be right. We will fight to be right, even if it means we lose a customer. We don't have the guts to allow other people to be right. I could hear it. I could hear it in the tone of voice with people. I've gotten better at it, but I still do it. You know? Yeah, it's just something that's sort of in you. But it's funny how it doesn't happen until you're here for a while. You know? Like these young guys that are here, I haven't seen anything off the, you know, they haven't done anything to lose anything. Because they're still in that, you know, deer in the headlights sort of look. And they don't want to do anything to hurt anything. But I think some of us who have been here a little bit longer have done and said things that cost us customers. They just, because we can't not keep our mouth shut, sort of. Keep our mouth shut. We have to say something. We have to get the last word in. We have to be right. I was told this a long time ago, and I don't know if this is that or not, but if my hand's in your pocket, you can be in charge. Okay? I'm going to let you be in charge. We will, you don't have to agree. You don't have to agree with what they're saying. You just sort of have to keep your mouth shut. And I'm not saying let people trample all over you, and if you're wrong, if something that you did was wrong, and remember when I say you, I'm talking about the truck. It's easy for us to say, oh, that damn truck, he's a son of a gun. No, you're the son of a gun, okay? You're the son of a gun. They don't look at the truck as the truck. They're not paying the truck. They're paying you. So they look at you. Yesterday when we got our butts ripped by Bottomley, they think they're punishing the truck. We had a guy that was just missing in action, and it was the very end of the season. And Bottomley said, it's a claim. And there's nothing I could have done or said to cause it not to be a claim. $43,000, and nobody wants the product. All because there was not a first choice effort over the weekend. The truck broke down, supposedly, and nobody knew it. Nobody knew it. Nobody in the east knew it. Nobody in the dry, whose load it was, knew it. We find out from our customer that the truck never delivered on Sunday morning, and they're still not there. It's the very end of the Christmas season, and everyone knows with the end of big ad deals what happens. If they got enough stuff, they find a reason not to take it. Mitchell's all pissed off at us. He don't want to help us. He thinks he's hurting the driver. And I got to explain to him, Mitchell, you're not hurt. Yeah, it'll hurt them a little bit, but they're like a one-man show. You're hurting us. It's going to be our claim. So help us. Try to help us. And he has not helped us yet. I've been beating the phone up trying to get people to take it, but that's what I mean. If we would have at least made the call, and I know this would have happened, if we would have called Mitchell on Sunday morning and said, hey, this guy is broke down, he would have called it would have gave us a chance to go put another truck under it. It was just in Virginia. Or Mitchell could have at least said to Costco, hey, this is the last thing, we'll have it there Monday. It's late, just wanted to let you know. Costco was pissed. Mitchell already told me you're not getting one Costco load next year. Yeah, but that's him talking. But we'll see about that. But that's what I mean. It's got to be a first choice effort all the time with everything we do. So what's important is making sure that that we live the first choice effort, and we do it every day. A couple years ago, I had a W sticker, a win sticker.
They're still on your desk.
Yeah, and we did that for a while, but we're going to do something a little different this year. But it's not going to be me. It's not going to be me giving stickers out. And this, whenever you think about this, you think about it, but we're not going to make you put it on your forehead or anything. But all this is just noticing what other people do. I want you to be looking out for first choice efforts. It could be anything, okay? It could be anything. But it has to be something that you're not just already paid to do. I mean, you know what I mean? It's not part of your job. It's something above and beyond that you do for someone else, that you do for a carrier, just something that explains that first choice. That's how we're going to get to be first choice, by doing first choice things. So, but if you see that, everyone's going to have some of these. And I'm gonna get with Doug, we're gonna figure out some type of incentive type thing. If you get 10 of these or whatever, you'll have something. But really, this should be in your heart to do it the right way all the time anyway. But you'll each get some of these stickers. If you see something, and it could be cross divisions too. If someone jumps up with a truck late, or someone covers for someone else, or does something, just whatever. There's no rule book on it. So, but all of you will have these. You can hand these out, and you keep track of them. At a certain time, we'll come up with something, that rewards the first choice efforts. But we're also gonna have the last choice effort, last place effort. This is gonna take guts. And I wanna see it, because I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. If you see something that someone else is doing, including me, I want you to have guts enough to, you don't have to make a show about it. This isn't, you know, you're sort of calling people out, sort of. But you don't have to do it where it's a big show. And I want the person who's getting one of these to listen and don't be a right fighter, okay? Somebody is doing it not to beat you down. They're doing it because they want you to get better. And they notice that that's not good for our first choice. So be on the lookout. I really want you to be on the lookout for that. Everybody good on that? Is everybody, you know, we can all say, and then, you know, and then nothing happens. But I'm going to be on the lookout, and I want you to be on the lookout. I think this is going to be big. If you don't think about stuff, it doesn't happen. We all got our jobs, we're all busy, but we sure as hell notice when Skip blows his wig across the other side of the room. That's a last place effort, okay? That's not good. So Skip should get a last place sticker from everyone here. If you see me do that, and it's not good. Skip should be man enough or control enough to say, hey, come here. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not going to do what I do, but sort of do it off to the side and do it the right way. So, and whatever you do to get one of these, we all know what they are. Just don't be a right fighter, okay? Let other people be right, especially if we're making money from them. All right, so that's coming. What time we got though?
I've got 23 minutes before 8.
Okay, so we got
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, new business and maintaining business efforts for 2015. We're going to have another board. We're still going to keep track of the load count and the gross profit per day, but I'm going to have another board that's going to be a one-a-month board. Everybody is going to be on that board in this room, or at least all of us, maybe not you. But it's going to be one customer per month. One new customer per month. You think about that. That's not that tough. It is to get on the phone and find a new customer, one per month. And then we're going to have something for that. Wait, if we really do that, you know how much gross profit and load count that would increase if every single person in this room just comes up with one customer a month? I mean, we would triple our gross profit. But you have to do it. You have to be willing to put the first choice effort in to get it. We sometimes get in our, like truck drivers, right? Driving down the road, it's 80 mile an hour, and nothing phases them. That's my job, and that's what I do. We gotta get out of it. We gotta get out of the same way that we do things. It's not a secret that if you keep doing the same things over and over and over and over, you're gonna get what?
Same result.
You're gonna get the same results. You know, I do it every year with trying to lose weight. I keep doing the same things. It don't work. It just don't work. So I got to do something different. So you'll see that. These are just little things here. Christmas gift confirmations. I want to get after the people who we gave presents to. I don't know if they even started delivering yet, but let's make a list. Maddie, if you'll get a list of everybody and put it on the table over there. And if people don't thank you for the gift, call them and remind them that they got it. And at the same time, ask them for another load or another truck. You know, sometimes people just forget. And not only that, I want to make sure it's there. I want to make sure it got there and didn't get lost in the mail. And Jake, come up with that list. Get it from Rita. She has a whole list of all the customers from the east. SkyDrive options. You'll hear more. Oh no, SkyDrive. Yeah, that's we are. That was a big part of our meeting. Our steel cage match is incorporating that into the everyday business that we do, giving people opportunities, as we did with Christmas, to do other business. And there'll be more to come with that on how it will be handled. But it worked. So you normally repeat stuff that works. So, and that's the only way that the company could tackle big ad deals like that. It's the only way. And why not give someone else an opportunity to get in on it if you trust them with your business? You don't have to pick every single person to be on that. And then if they don't produce, or if they hurt you, you knock them off your list. It's simple. It's your customer. It's amazing what you'd find out sometimes if you just give someone a shot. And there's dollars to be made. Huddle ideas. There's been, I don't know what everyone thinks about the huddle. I like it. I think it's a good thing. I think people should, if you think that it needs spruced up a little bit, come up with some ideas on how we could spruce it up. The produce stand up here. We're going to continue to come up here every Wednesday, so when it's your shot, when it's your time, you make sure that you're up here, pay attention, shake a couple hands, and get to know people. That's why we have a lot more business this year, because we have generated some relationships, especially me. I never came up here before, never. I'm up here every Wednesday. I know people. I think they like me a little bit. Hey, when people like you and they feel like you're real, I just didn't have time for them, And it's, boy, is that stupid. The business they have, the amount of business they have, and they're right here, and we don't do it. We don't come up for it. 2 minutes. All right. Everyone, everywhere. 2015. I'm still pushing that. That's opportunities for everyone to do more business in every single area. From what I can see, only Maddie's the only one who's really taken advantage of loading loads out of different areas. A few here with Chad going different places, but what that does, that takes the extra question. It takes the extra question. If you're loading produce out of Florida and Florida stops, that means they're loading it somewhere else. Find out where it's loading. Where do you load, Soul Group? Where do you load, Bold House? Where do you load, Long and Scott? Where do you load? And even your guys back to the east. All the crap that's happened in California in the last couple of years, they've had to figure out a way to get produce to their customers. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. Hey, and that video right there will be